blade. All right, I guess I should start. It's Adam Savage. I'm at Prop Store in London with Stephen Lane. Hello, my friend.
Hey, Adam.
I'm holding Glamdring. I'm just having a moment. This is one of Gandalf's swords from Lord of the Rings. This is built by Weta Workshop. This is ground by Peter Lyon, the sword master at Weta, who taught me sword grinding. It's made in aluminum, so when you're Ian McKellen and you swing it around, you look really strong because it's super light. I can't believe you have this piece.
Do you want me to say anything? I think you just carry on, man.
I'm just like belly aching on forever about it.
Yeah, I know. It's a beautiful sword, isn't it? Of course, this is from Return of the King, and it's Gandalf's primary weapon, along with his staff for the movie. You're absolutely right. This is made of aluminium. It's an aluminium blade. I know there's a technical name for the aluminium as well, and I can't remember.
7071 instead of the normal aircraft 6061. They use 7075 because it's springier.
Right.
It bounces back better.
Yeah, and isn't it also a safety thing as well? Isn't it something like the blade, this metal, that style of aluminium doesn't shatter so easily? So if it's being used for action work, or if it's clashing against another sword, it's less likely to actually pop apart, or
I think you're right.
Something along those lines.
And they also grind it so it's got a fairly thick edge, even though it looks like it's sharp, it's not, and so it doesn't damage it as they battle with it.
Yeah.
This one also has a funny little legend here. Gandalf's Sword, Sideshow Toys, 12 June 02. So clearly this was sent by Weta, I'm guessing, to Sideshow for making the first replicas of Glamdring.
Yeah, actually, as the story goes, they were actually presented to the executives when they were on their tour there. So they were having a tour during production, and they were working out what the product lines were that were going to come from them. And they offered them some of the samples literally for the film while they were there, and saying, right, hot off the press, here we go, take these away and use these as the samples for you guys to make the replicas subsequently. So, of course, these differ from the replicas that were made because, as we say, the aluminium blade and the finishing details as well. But it's actually, and initially, when we first saw these come to market many years ago, we were like, it's sort of a bit of a shame that it's got the engraving down the blade.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, that's a moment in time. This authenticates exactly when it was given to them, the date it was given to them as well from the production.
And they weren't all made in aluminum. Some for hero close-ups, I'm correct that they made some in actual steel.
Actual steel as well, yes. But I think they would still differ very much from the replicas that were made by Sideshow. Obviously, the construction would have been very, very different. But yes, I think this is more of the action, as you say, the lightweight nature of it as well. And it's beautifully balanced as well, isn't it? It really feels good as well. You can tell that they were thinking about the balance on the sword, not just the aesthetic, when they were piecing them together, when they were building them.
That is one of the things I love most about what Weta turns out, is the entire scope of what they've considered about how it gets handled, how it's going to look, how it's going to feel. And I imagine that the actors all felt very affectionate for their hero prop pieces.
Look at the way you're hugging that thing. I think you feel a bit affectionate about it right now.
all I'm thinking about is actually I really want to try and grind a leaf blade myself.
Right, okay.
Because that's what this style is called, where it gets a little thicker out here, is a leaf. Profile. Also, this is casting, but the beautiful Elvish writing is not really obvious when you see it on screen, and there's so much extra detail.
Yeah, it's just nice and subtle. You got this sort of faux blue jewel sort of detail sitting in there, haven't you? Which is really just a bit of paintwork finished in there to dress it. But it's a gorgeous thing. And what is the pommel here? Is that just like a plated resin, perhaps?
Yeah, I believe that, if I'm not incorrect, I think these are just a plated resin, and it looks...
even that works perfectly, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah. To the camera, that looks completely metal, but the moment you touch it, you realize it's plastic. Yeah. And again, no amount of close-up would ever yield that impression.
Yeah, I agree.
You have sold some Weta swords before, am I right?
Yes, yeah. No, they do come up from time to time. There was a whole batch that came out during this era, and they have circulated a little bit, but this one's been buried away in a private collection now for about 10 years, so this is the first time that we've seen this come to market for a long time.
I have photos from the last time it came to market, because I remember seeing this inscription and thinking, that's a really interesting story. we have done business together long enough where I've seen pieces come back to auction, and you must feel like these are sort of like members of your extended family after a time.
You know what? There's definitely a bit of that, and it's really interesting because without sort of focusing too much on the monetary aspect of it, these things have really changed dramatically in value over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And what we found is that the clients of Prop Store, who were our big buyers going back 15, 20 years ago, a lot of them are now our suppliers because they've seen the market rise, they've seen the things change, and also there's a lot more accessibility now. There's more content out there than ever before. We couldn't do a 1,500 item auction, 10 years ago. There just wasn't the material around. So those people are like, you know what? The value's gone up. Now I fancy this, the bright shiny thing over there. And so they come back around to Prop Store. And it's really exciting for us to have the opportunity to handle them again.
Well, because they're not just bits of commerce, they're genuine artifacts.
They are.
And when I walk through the Victoria and Albert Museum and I read the labels and the stories of the objects there, to me, I view what we're doing here as part and parcel of the same process. We're holding on to the stories that these things tell.
Exactly that. And look, we all know that we're only temporary custodians, don't we? We're going to have them for a while. The important part is that it's preserved, the story gets passed on, as you said, and the next person has the same level of enjoyment, and hopefully it lives on for the next few decades.
And if you are feeling flush and would like to be the steward or of this piece, the auction's happening right now.
It is, yeah. It's online right now. You can check it out at propstore.com. Bidding's taking place, and then it culminates in a 4-day live auction, November the 3rd to November the 6th. Look at that. You're having so much fun, man. Nobody's paying attention to what I'm saying.
You shall not pass! Thank you for indulging me, sir.
Pleasure, man.
All right, I'm just going to swing this in the parking lot.